All right, back to politics now. Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders are on the campaign trail ahead of Tuesday's primaries. The Democratic rivals are spending much of the weekend in Ohio, where 143 of the total 691 delegates are up for grabs. Senator Sanders is hoping to keep the momentum going after his surprise win in Michigan. So will we see a shift on Tuesday? Let's have a fair and balanced debate. Penny Lee, who is a senior advisor at Venn Strategies, and Christian Ferry, who ran Senator Lindsey Graham's presidential campaign. Thank you both for joining me. We certainly have, I want to get right to our conversation because there's a lot we could talk about. I want to start with a really bad, inappropriate pun. Are we going to feel the burn going into Tuesday? Is Bernie going to feel what he felt in Michigan? Are we going to see those same results?
Well, we'll see. And I don't think it's a bad pun. It's actually something that they're very proud of, a slogan that they're very, very proud of.
It's catchy.
But look, it's catchy. Look, there is a lot of delegates at stake. This is really a crucial moment for the campaign, for both of the campaigns to be able to garner the necessary support. And what you've seen, although Mrs. Clinton did lose Michigan, she actually had an overall of the night because of her big wins in Louisiana, Mississippi, and others. She actually had more delegates collected, and that's what we're into right now, is that delegate count. And so if Bernie wants to actually make a shift and really go ahead of Mrs. Clinton, he's got to win big, not just win, but actually win by a large margin.
Okay, but Christian, even if he doesn't win big, I heard an interview this morning, and he said, listen, I'm going to do really well in some of the states farther west. So I don't really see any enthusiasm on his side waning.
I don't think the enthusiasm for him is going to wane. He's going to continue to raise money on their net. He's going to continue to be in this race. And because of the way that Democrats do their delegate allocation, he's going to be able to continue to pick up delegates whether or not he's winning or not. Look, I think it's a very difficult, case to make that he can actually beat Hillary Clinton at this point. But he's not going to get so far down in the delegates anytime soon that I think you're going to see him step aside.
Okay, so, and you've run a campaign. I want to ask you, pose this question to you. I had read an article this morning, and Hillary Clinton had talked about how she's not necessarily a natural politician like her husband or President Obama. It was a very tender moment, vulnerable, authentic. What has she done to, how has she changed, not only because of outside factors, but also because of Bernie Sanders? How has she changed in this campaign?
Well, I think Bernie Sanders has moved the race, further to the left. Hillary Clinton has had to adjust. I think the authenticity issue is one she's struggled with throughout this campaign. I think it's one of the reasons she hasn't been able to shake this 74-year-old self-described socialist. There are moments in a campaign, and a good campaign is one that's going to be able to take advantage of those moments when it happens.
Okay, and I want to pose the same question to you, and so our viewers know you are a Hillary supporter, but so you have watched her morph and change, perhaps on some issues, go a little bit farther left than you were anticipating.
Well, I think it's really hard for someone that has known her for as many years as I have, is when you know her in person, she is a warm and caring and wonderful person, and sometimes when it doesn't necessarily translate when the cameras are on or in large auditoriums. And so what you saw early on the campaign in those one-on-one meetings in those smaller settings, she was resonating well, and it's hard though sometimes to convey it. She's right, she doesn't do necessarily those large big events, but what we're seeing over and over again, and the reason why she continues to win is people like her experience. They see when, in the debates that she is credible, that she is articulate, that she understands the issues. Those are her strengths, and that's what she leads into, and that's why she continues to win.
Playing on strengths, obviously, like we talked about, Tuesday is a big day. I've heard a lot of reporters pose questions to both candidates about trade, and we just talked about how Hillary has gone left on some issues when we didn't anticipate her to do so. What do the candidates want to say to voters right now ahead of Tuesday?
Well, I think on the issue of trade, it is one that is foremost, especially in these states that are going into on Tuesday, and that is, she has one that will take each trade deal and look at it individually. She supported her husband's effort on NAFTA, but she voted when she was senator. She voted against other trade agreements, and she has come out and said now that she has seen TPP, she's going to be voting against it. So I think people they understand that we are in a global market, but they want to make sure that American workers are not unduly punished.
All right, Christian, I want to give you the last word on the issue of trade and why it is really important to a lot of people in Middle America.
Absolutely. And look, I think this is going to be one of these issues that's going to be fascinating in the general election, because you have Donald Trump, who's actually closer to Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders on trade than he is the Republican Party. and his opponents in the Republican primary. So
We could talk about that all day, right? Him trying to get another voter base.
Assuming Trump is going to be the Republican nominee, it's going to be a fascinating debate between him and whoever emerges from the Democratic side on this issue, where they actually have more similarities, I think, than differences.
All right. Well, thank you both for joining me, Penny and Krishna. I appreciate it.
Thank
And
you so
certainly
much.
we'll have more conversations, and we'll see what happens on Tuesday. Thanks.
Thank you.